Hey, if you're wondering how to build self-esteem and self-worth, this video is for you. We feel down from time to time, but chances are you're watching this video because it's been too long since you felt good about yourself and you're looking to regain that feeling or feel it for the first time. So stick with me and I'm going to share with you my secret, but here's a teaser. I call them dailies. It's the last step that I'm going to give you. And dailies are the thing that I used to shore up my sense of self-worth. So the number one thing that we do is identify the most significant reason that we don't feel self-esteem. And I want you to understand that self-esteem truly is not where you need to find your happiness and your sense of well-being. Self-esteem is a mirage. People that are narcissists all have extremely high self-esteem. They think they're the best, and they move without any compunction or consideration of those around them because they believe that they have value that supersedes others. That's what self-esteem can do for you. You can, in fact, have a high sense of self-worth and a low self-esteem. You can have a really, really high self-esteem and a low self-worth. That, I believe, is what a narcissist is. It's a false bravado. Your self-worth is a deep and abiding feeling that comes from knowing that you are good and human and valuable. So with that in mind, when you can identify the significant reason that you don't feel a good sense of self-esteem, you can fix those things or you can let them go. And I'll tell you, when I was first in the process of my divorce, I was living in probably one of the worst places I had ever lived in my life. It was a little dumpy studio, so nasty and filthy. I literally washed every inch of this place with toilet bowl cleaner. The walls, the kitchen, the bathroom, everything. It was disgusting. And when I was done, I still felt like it was disgusting. I was sleeping on a cot. I didn't have a bed. I was driving a college kid's car. I didn't feel like any of this represented all that I had accomplished in my life. I was not in the home that I had purchased. I was not driving my car that I had given to my kids. I was driving a little $1,000 car. I didn't have any of the entrapments that I had built around my life through the work that I had done. And it had an impact on my self-esteem. It made me feel like I wasn't enough. But I recognized in that moment that I still believed I had value. I had done enough work that to this point, my sense of self-worth was still intact. But in this space, I began to realize with my focus on my self-esteem that I needed to change a few things. So I looked at my space, right? I looked at where I was living. This was impacting my self-esteem. If I brought people by and they saw where I was living, it was embarrassing to me. I didn't like it. If I, went out and hung out with friends and I was driving my car, it was embarrassing to me that my car was so old and crappy. I was embarrassed by all these things that were hitting my self-esteem. I was embarrassed that I was going through a divorce. I was embarrassed that my kids wouldn't see me because it made me feel like I had been a terrible father. I was embarrassed by all kinds of things in my life that were impacting my self-esteem. And so I had to replace some behaviors to match that. I knew I needed to change. I couldn't change where I lived. I couldn't afford it. I couldn't buy a new car. I couldn't afford it. I couldn't make my kids see me because I love them and I just want them to come to me naturally. And so I had to sit with that. There was all kinds of things, right? And I figured out, what do I got to do? I got to change my behaviors of sitting here and find new things. And so I decided to take the behaviors of my daily life and really evaluate how I was interacting with my space. Because it was COVID and I was working in this horrible place. And I realized I had to get outside every day to break out of the malaise of this place that I was living. I had to have human interaction. I had to have connections with people. I had to have some sort of physical activity to lift me. I had to be able to build something. And that's what I did. As I did this, caught in this space of fear and transition and low self-esteem, I looked at what I find my self-worth in? What are the things where I find my own value? And as I began to identify those, I put those behaviors on the forefront of my mind. And I began to try to enact in that, right? But along the way, as you do this and you're practicing, you can fall down. Having a low self-esteem is taxing. It makes you feel like you're not enough, even if your self-worth is high. And so it can be taxing, and then you reach out to people. You find, in the step number 4, you find a support group so that when you fall, when you're struggling, when you're feeling like, man, this is too much, I don't even know if I'm going to stay intact with my self-worth, call those people. There was one day I was really, really struggling. Some stuff had happened in the process of the divorce that had really, really impacted me significantly, as it does everyone. And I had gone for a run to try to just break through just the crush of it. And I couldn't stop crying. I'm running and I'm crying. And I'm like, what the heck is wrong with me? I'm running down the road and I'm crying. Holy crap, I'm in trouble. I realized I'm in trouble. And I called my sister. And it was in the thick of COVID, and she was on a little getaway at she was down in St. George, and she had a place on a reservoir there. And she kindly invited me to come and spend the weekend with her family. And that was a saving moment for me, right? To have this crushing feeling and everything's collapsing and I can't see for myself anymore what's good about me because of everything that's happening, and to go and spend time with loved ones and to have them be kind to me and to have them accept me and to have them see me with kind eyes, it was what I needed. It was what I needed in that space, and we all need that at times. Even though we are responsible for our own happiness, we are responsible for our own self-worth, we need those people to support us at times. And it was in that place where I did this, where I established what I call my dailies. And this is step 5, right? Where when you establish your dailies, the things that you must do every day to build yourself so you can meet any challenge, mine were to read something uplifting for 30 minutes every day, to meditate for 30 minutes every day, to work out every day, and to write for 30 minutes to an hour every day. These seem really simple. There's not a lot there, but for me, they had a number of components that would hit me. They had physical components, mental components, emotional, spiritual. And when I'm running, I feel a mental stimulation. I feel spiritual connection in the nature because I run up in the mountains. I feel an emotional relief. When I'm writing, it's the same thing. There's intellectual, there's spiritual, there's emotional stuff. When I'm reading, it's always building all these things. And as I do that, it allows me to remember my own value. And I did this during the process of COVID, and it really, really helped me because I was alone. And I realized that my self-esteem didn't matter. And I still didn't like having my car be crappy and my place be lousy, but I no longer felt an attack on my existence as I delved into my sense of self-worth and practiced these dailies with the mindset that I had established, knowing that my esteem was focused on the wrong things, knowing that my worth was focusing on these dailies and building a foundational understanding of what I bring to the table and makes me valuable. And finally, having a support group that would allow me to see the best of me reflected in their eyes when I needed that the most. You do these things and you will find that you have self-worth to sustain you in almost any situation. That's what we want. We want to be able to face the challenges of life and walk through them with power. And this is the way to do it. So the final 5 steps, just to review for you so you understand how to move through this, is 1, identify the most significant reason that you don't feel that you have self-esteem. What are the things? Then decide, do I need to change these things? and what needs to change about me so that these things no longer matter. 3, replace old behaviors that are causing you to move into a space where you're relying on these trappings to find value instead of placing your mindset in the place it needs to be, which is on your self-worth and building who you are for happiness instead of the trappings that make you feel like you're important and good. Number 4, find a support group. We all need one. These are important for us. None of us is perfect. And when we fall down, we need our friends around us to remind us that we have worth and value so that we can return to the power of ourselves. And then 5, keep all of this in line and build your worth and value through daily practices that you identify what they are for you so that you can build yourself spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, physically, in every way daily. And that gives you this foundation that you can stand on and move through challenges in life with confidence and know that no matter how hard and painful it is now, it's going to get better because you're worthy of it. Thanks for sticking around. I'd love to hear what you have done to build your self-worth over your self-esteem. And if you want to know how to feel worthy of love and what ended my marriage, that video is coming up. I think it might be something of value to you. I'm James Burnham. Thanks for following me.